of the warm weather here across the Arklatex. Yes, I just noticed that the mic was off, that button I often forget to push. But nonetheless, remembered it earlier tonight. So coming up tonight after a gorgeous day today, and again, hello to everyone watching on Facebook Live and watching on the KTAL Now app. We are looking at tonight the continuation of the warm temperatures across the Arklatex as temperatures will likely stay in the 80s for most of this week. We are looking at the first of a couple of disturbances that will bring us the threat for some thunderstorms. It will impact parts of the area late Wednesday and especially Wednesday evening. I'll show you that with Futurecast, show you the hail possibilities, rotation possibilities, wind possibilities, and of course, another round is going to be possible here for maybe a bigger part of the Arklatex this weekend on Saturday night. Details on the timing and the coverage of that still somewhat limited, but I'll show you the latest outlook from SPC on that. And you might recall all last week I was showing you some very impressive rainfall numbers going out 2 weeks. Now that we're a week in, models really have not changed hardly at all from what they were indicating last week. I'll show you the latest numbers that go out 2 weeks, including some impressive numbers from the model blend going out 10 days. And you might be wondering, is it going to cool down again? It is a little bit, and I'll show you when and how long that will last when it does get here. So if you're watching on Facebook, again, if you are watching on the app, and want to participate or watching the recording this on the KTAL Now app and would like to participate, I am looking at questions on the my Facebook page, Warn Weather. So facebook.com/Warn Weather is where the comments are at now. So let's see who is tuning in tonight. And first on board, as usual, is Brian. Hello there, Brian. Gary, hi. Rusty, good evening. Eric says it's now 59 degrees in Colbert, Oklahoma, west of the Arklatex. Mary, hello, and thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. All right, so that's what's coming up tonight as we wait for new people to come in and ask their questions or say hi. Let's start with, first of all, my level of worry, hence weather worries. I'm going to keep it for Wednesday's disturbance at 3. Again, the jury is still out on, again, this weekend and possibly again sometime during the first of next week. I think the biggest fear will come with the last impulse that comes through next week, probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, because the upper level energy is going to be taking a much more southerly course. So we will have better upper level support here for that one. And again, you'll see that when we get to grain of salt time here in a second. But again, I put my level of worry at 3. Again, Wednesday night, northwestern parts of the Arklatex, we will see a chance for some severe weather. Really, Futurecast keeping the strongest winds to our north, doesn't show a whole lot of rotation, and does show a little bit of hail. Again, I'll show you all that here in a second. And I mentioned the few more rounds of strong storms that we could see in the coming 10 days. And as I mentioned earlier, the rainfall numbers still look quite impressive, but it's going to be spread out over quite a period of time. All right, let's move on and show you the high temperatures across the area today. We did make it to 82 in Shreveport. 80 was the high in Texarkana. 82 degrees also in Marshall. The warm spots in Natchitoches as well as in Longview, both coming in at 83 degrees this afternoon. All right, so before we get into the meat of the festivities tonight, see who else has joined in. Drew, hello. Austin in Plano, Texas. Looks like you will have a shot Wednesday, Austin. You'll see that when I show the outlook from SPC here in a second. Austin says blood moon tonight, full moon tonight, definitely. Slade, hello there. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. We're going to get our fair share, Slade. It'll come by this time next week. We could have received a couple of inches, and that's not all that we're going to get, more than likely. All right, so let's move on and show you the weather pattern first of all. And you can see this upper level trough right here. That is what's going to move towards the east. Most of the energy is going to stay well to the north of us, so that's one reason why we're not going to see widespread severe weather issues. Should be isolated to scattered in nature. Stephen says, bring the rain. It's coming, Stephen. It's coming. All right, let's take a look at the surface forecast as we go through the next several days. And you can see that front. To the north of that front today, temperatures barely made it to 70 in Natchitoches, or I should say in DeQueen, as well as up in Idabel. So it was a bit cooler to the north of that. And you can see tonight the clouds return. That system is going to, area of low pressure is going to gather itself in the Midwest, and you can see the trailing cold front, which is going to approach the Arklatex here heading into Wednesday. It'll try to nudge its way southward, but not going to make a whole lot of progress, and will not move very far into the area, as you can see moving through Wednesday night, and then we will see it pretty much wash out, and we'll be left with a break from the more widespread heavier rain. So it looks like with this first disturbance, really the northwestern quarter, if that, of the area is going to see most of the rain. And you can see another disturbance moving into the Midwest here, heading into Friday morning. All the rain associated with that is going to obviously stay to the north. But that cold front is eventually going to move south, and that's what's going to give part of the area the chance for some storms on Saturday. Let's see. Betty says, oh, let's see, I skipped some. Lindsay, hello. Hopefully you're having a nice Monday and enjoy today's sunshine. Donnell? Nothing really tomorrow, Donnell. You may not get much even Wednesday night. If Futurecast is correct. I haven't looked at the evening runs of the high-res models yet, but Futurecast did trend a little bit further to the north, actually a little bit further to the south with the gusty winds, and I'll point that out when I get to that point. Betty, don't like severe weather? I don't like it either, Betty. Sarah in Brooklyn, New York, hello to you. Lindsay, bring the sun. Lindsay likes sunshine. Well, you've had plenty of it, Lindsay. Aaron and WCOK, hello there. Hopefully you weren't too cool today. I noticed you were in the low 70s while we were in the 80s. Today. Anyway, let's get to Futurecast here, and you can see tonight the clouds will increase across the area as temperatures will probably settle into the low 60s over much of the region. I think tomorrow's going to be a breezy day, not as windy as we did see at times last week, but we'll see some gusts in excess of 20 miles per hour at times tomorrow. Sustained winds 10 to 15, and I do think we'll see some sun mixed in with the clouds during the afternoon. Those low clouds with that south wind will increase once again tomorrow night, and then heading through Wednesday. Again, most of us will stay dry. Notice a few spotty showers developing south of the front here Wednesday evening, but this is the area up here that you're going to see the storms increase close to that front heading into Wednesday night. So Futurecast kind of keeping the brunt of the stronger storms over McCurtain, Sevier, and Howard counties. That's not to say that it won't happen further to the south, but Futurecast's last couple of runs has been persistently showing that. And other models also limiting the amount of rain. The one that I looked at this morning that went out far enough also limited the rain for the northern sections of the area. So that being said, as we head into Thursday afternoon, you can see the sunshine returning to the south part of the area. I doubt that we'll see much as far as rain on Thursday. Thursday night, the low clouds will return once again. And then Friday, most of us will stay dry, maybe a small chance for a spotty shower, but we will see morning clouds, a little bit of afternoon sunshine. That routine is going to repeat itself each and every day this week for most of the area, minus the north edge of the region, which has that shot for the thunderstorms on Wednesday. All right, let's get to the severe possibilities. This is what SPC has. A slight risk here over the northwestern corner of the area, a marginal down to Shreveport, but I really haven't seen much that shows me yet that we'll see any worries here in Shreveport, East Texas, Northwest Louisiana. It's probably going to be near or north of Interstate 30. That's what the majority of the models are showing. So let's show you what Futurecast is showing. First of all, as far as wind, you can see, generally speaking, it's going to stay rather windy, you might say, somewhat windy, not only tomorrow, but Wednesday as well. So these will be non-thunderstorm winds. And you can see where Futurecast has these gusts. Notice the scale here, red is 40. So we're looking at gusts from the storms 30 to 50. So if this is further to the south, 30 to 50 is what you might expect. but the isolated to scattered 60-mile-per-hour gusts will be possible. As far as rotation potential, again, Futurecast not showing a whole lot here. This is basically the swaths from now through Thursday morning. Notice very weak on the low end of the scale here. So the tornado threat's not zero, but it is extremely low the way it looks, especially with that upper level impulse moving through southeastern Nebraska. It's really, for its strength, too far away from us. And in fact, let me zoom this out. And you can see further north how these swaths, not quite, just a little bit stronger, but nonetheless, the tornado risk is looking very low at this point. Hail, this is the latest from Futurecast on that. You can see a couple of dark spots here. I'm going to zoom this into the northern part of the area, and you can see a couple of these dark spots. That's where we could be seeing a few storms that maybe drop that quarter-sized hailstone. So between the three, rotation, wind, and hail looks to be like maybe the biggest worry, if just based on what Futurecast is showing us. Now, again, this is only a model. It's guessing. So things, and we're 2 days out still, so things could very well change. It's coming, Aaron. Need some rain. It's coming. Good night, Lindsay. Get outside and enjoy that afternoon sun if you see it tomorrow. All right, so Thursday. So that's what Wednesday night looks like. Again, I mentioned Thursday, Friday look relatively quiet for the area. So here's the SPC outlook for Thursday. And notice that the risk is off to the west of us over northwest Texas and western Oklahoma. Friday, again, mainly to the west of us. Zoom this out. You can see most of Oklahoma, north central Texas. Notice it's getting closer. And then here we are Saturday, and you can see the risk northwest, pretty much where tomorrow's risk is. And again, this is day 6, I believe. Starting with day 4 outlooks from SPC, they only put out a slight or enhanced areas. They don't put marginal, moderate, or high. So we very well likely will see some marginal in here over the southeastern sections of the region. A lot really depend on timing. If they come in earlier Saturday, then this will be obviously expanded. But if they come in late Saturday evening up in the northwest corner, we probably don't have much to worry about. Although models are showing we're going to get some rain here, at least in Shreveport, on this weekend. The outlook for Sunday as of right now, SPC says the too much uncertainty to put a risk area in here. Doesn't mean we won't have any, but the risk is not looking, again, big enough, or there's too much uncertainty to put that yellow area in here. All right, so that's the breakdown heading into the weekend. And again, their outlooks only go out to Sunday. So we do not know about what happens middle part of next week. So let's get to the upper level pattern here. You can see this first disturbance. Notice how it moves basically well up here in Nebraska. So the biggest, probably, depending on temperatures, the heavier rains closer to that upper level impulse. Notice the second one behind it, it breaks off and forms an upper level low if this model is correct. And you can see the associated front will give us a shot for some thunderstorms here heading into Saturday and Saturday night. Again, right now it looks like northwest part of the area is where that risk could be highest. When this moves by, that is probably when our risk is going to be biggest. So let's take a look at when that could happen. And here we are getting into the middle of next week. Other models showing it Tuesday, I believe. But Tuesday, Wednesday of next week is when we could see, probably Wednesday actually, now I think about it, is when we could see our biggest, most widespread thunderstorms, strongest thunderstorms across the area. That will clear. And then we have another trough late in the 2-week period. That would be the weekend after next. That could bring some strong storms once again. So you can see the pattern as we head into the spring months. Again, since this is March, we are now in climatological spring. And I posted that this climatological winter was the 4th warmest in Texarkana and 5th or 6th warmest, I believe is what it was, in Shreveport. It may have been 5th. I think it was 5th. So it was one of the warmest winters on record. And it looks like we're settling into maybe a little bit more soggy here as we move deeper into the month of March. This will take us through the first half of March. Let's see. Tuesday for Brooklyn and 40 degrees and rain, says Sarah. I'll look at your numbers here in a second, Sarah. All right, let's get to the details on rainfall. And you can see that tonight, or I should say in the next 7 days, this is from meteorologists at WPC, takes us through next Monday. Notice northwest half of the area, 3 to 5 plus inches. Less than 3 inches, 1 to 3 further to the south and east, but this only goes out through Monday. We have that final push to come through during the middle part of next week. Here's the blend of models, which does see that final push, and for some reason, I guess I got some incomplete data. This happens this time of night. This happens. I will tell you that it has 5 inches in Texarkana, 8 inches. The new model run is coming in. That's why this is not accurate. There's a bug here in the system, apparently. But it has over 8 inches, especially northern McCurtain County, and basically 3 to 5 inches over the southeast half of the area. Here's a look at the 2 weeks. Again, we have that final disturbance, and you can see the cluster, how everything is really zeroed in on 5 inches in DeQueen, 4 inches in Texarkana, 3 inches in Shreveport, 2 inches for the most part in Natchitoches. And you can see the GFS going ballistic in Texarkana and DeQueen with 7.5 and 8.5 inches respectively. So again, still some rather impressive rainfall totals. And most of this will happen from this weekend for minus DeQueen this weekend through the middle part of next week. So that's the latest on the rainfall aspect of things. Again, this is going to be spread out over several days. So basically with that Wednesday disturbance, that's going to be the one after we have received, several inches. It gives us 2 or 3 inches quickly. Then, that's when our flooding risk may be at its highest. Gary is here watching in Palm Springs. Hello there, Gary. Drew says, ready for the rain? There you go, Drew. Get those white bass ready. And you're going to be warming up, Sarah, with more ridging in the west or in the east. You're going to be warming up. Speaking of temperatures, you can see the European ensembles keeping us well above normal. Most days in the 80s through next Tuesday. That midweek disturbance comes in, a brief cool down to the 60s a week from Thursday, and then we're back up into the 70s heading into the middle of March. Lows mainly in the 60s. There's that cool down, still above normal in the mid to upper 40s, and then we warm back to the 50s. Look at the GFS ensembles, and they were flirting with 90. Are we going to hit 89 tomorrow? Not going to happen. Can't rule it out Friday, but you can see most days in the 80s. The cool down minus after Wednesday's upper level low moves through, and then we warm back up as that next trough builds back over towards Gary. And lows, so there's no more freezing here. This takes us through the middle of March. Most days, no 90s either, but we're getting close. I suspect that one day in March, we're going to hit 90 in Shreveport. I think that's a good bet. All right, before we get to the forecast, let me look at our interstate viewers' weather here. Let's see. Gary, I actually have yours punched up here. You're in the mid-80s the next couple of days, close to 80 Friday and this weekend. 90s on the way by the last half of next week. Lows, a couple nights in the low 50s late this week. Then you'll kind of settle into the low to middle 60s. And you do have some rain, Gary. It looks like a shot next week and maybe getting a little bit of rain. Sarah there in Brooklyn, you mentioned the temperatures. Your temperatures, 42 is what I'm showing here. You'll be in the 60s by this weekend. How about 67 next Monday and next Wednesday? So you'll have 5 days in a row with highs in the 60s, lows close to 50. So there's your taste of spring, Sarah. And as far as your rain, looks like a little bit tomorrow that you mentioned. After that, another shot Thursday, and then Saturday. You take a break for several days, and then middle of next week, heading into next weekend, you could get a couple of inches here in the next couple of weeks, Sarah. All right, let's take a look at, see if I have any other comments to address here. I would suspect somewhere in that range, Betty, would be 3 to 5 if you want to broaden the window just a bit. But, 3 inches, 5 inches, what's the difference? It's going to be wet. All right. I knew It meant of, Betty. So thanks. Anyway, let's take a look at the forecast here tonight. Looking mostly cloudy as the clouds return. We'll see. Notice the normal low 45. We'll be at 60 in Texarkana, 59 in Mount Pleasant, Idabel at 58. Further to the south, lows tonight will settle into the upper 50s to low 60s, ranging from 57 in Manny and Arcadia to 60 for the low temperature in Shreveport, 62 in Henderson, as again, we will see the clouds increase. Tomorrow, looking at lots of clouds for most of the day, a little bit of sun possible in the afternoon, touch on the breezy side. Notice the normal high, believe it or not, 66, 81 in both Texarkana and Atlanta, 79 degrees in Equine. Also looking at upper 70s, low 80s across the southern half of the area. Again, I'm not too concerned about any rain tomorrow across the area, with, again, those temperatures running a good 15 degrees above normal for most of the Arklatex. And here's my 10-day forecast. Again, these are Shreveport numbers, so that's why 10, 20, 10, 20. Hardly any rain here through Friday. We'll see things pick up in our part of the area this weekend. Again, north and northwest a little bit sooner. And those good shots for the rain will continue through the middle of next week. Keep an eye on Tuesday and or Wednesday. That could be when we have more widespread severe weather issues if they do develop. So 8:51, that is my time for tonight. But before I go, I think I've addressed all the your questions. I have to leave you with my attempt at a little bit of humor, which I know all of you enjoy. Anyway, a panic-stricken man told his doctor he feared that he was shrinking. His doctor told him to calm down and learn to be a little patient. And that will do it for me tonight, folks. As always, thanks for tuning in. I do enjoy chatting, or at least conversing to a certain degree with all of you who tune in each and every night. Again, I'll be back tomorrow night at the usual time at 8:30. And of course, you can always tune in tonight at 9 on Fox. Should have those proper model blend numbers in, hopefully by then. And of course, we'll be back on NBC at 10. So until tomorrow night at the usual time at 8:30, have a great Tuesday. And if you see some sunshine outside tomorrow, be sure to get outside and enjoy it. Good night.